And we have acoustic chambers here, and Larry opened up the chambers and started to put every other musician, I think.
The echo chambers never made the sound acceptable. They enhanced the sound, but the fact that the room was filled with musicians, and it is a small room, everything bounced off of, and we got all of this meshing going on, you know. And then you added the chambers to it, and so you got this sound that all became this wall. It was a room saturation. We had it all melded together in the room. And of course there was one other ingredient to help make it the wall of sound. A minor ingredient, but still meaningful. And that's Phil Spector. I mean, Phil made the wall of sound because, and of course I've thought of different reasons why, we would almost never roll tape for under 3 hours into the session. All of that time would be spent with the musicians playing and Phil listening. And one of the theories that I've evolved is that the reason he did it so long was that he wanted the musicians to be tired so that they lost their individualism. And now what they played could be blended into this sound rather than to hear all of these talented, and every one of the musicians, as you know, yeah, we're all great talents. But they got tired, and so they blended in. That's one of the theories.
Okay, you're listening to Rodney on the Rock. We're still going here. All Grown Up. That was the last release on Philly's record in 1964. Before Phil Spector, there was another record producer, both independent and successful, a man who put Little Richard and Sam Cooke into rock and roll history and paved the way for their imitators. Let's see what a great record producer has to say about another.
Well, I think that he, as a producer, did his job. And he did his job well, and he was got over. What I think of him as a producer in the lights of what I personally, which is my own personal opinion of producers, I didn't give him the esteem that the press and the media gave him. His work was always cliched, and he stole, and I say that with capital S-T-O-L-E, from black musicians, singers, writers, and producers, even myself. I think he became famous because he was fortunate enough through the politics, through the system, and good marketing, he got out there. And when he was out there, he had people that would go and, you know, goose eggs don't sell as much as chicken eggs. No, chicken eggs always sell more than goose eggs, because you know where to find a chicken egg, because she holler every time she lays one. But a goose, you have to look for the egg, and you might step on it before you find it, you see. So Spector did a lot of things and was in the middle of a lot of press, in the middle of a lot of things, and a lot of bizarre things. And any time he turned around, he was up in the press, all that kind of stuff. But actually, as far as our industry is concerned, I'm sorry, I cannot give him credit for being the top producer at the time. But as far as marketing and press, Spector got it. And like I say, he knew what to lift, that was all. And I think there's a certain amount of credit a person should be given for that if he's smart enough to know what to you know, take and use. And especially when someone else has done it and they didn't get over it, it probably ended up in the trash can and he'd pick it up and take it and use it. And that's just the way the industry is, and that's the way it's gone, and that's the way, and that's why the industry right today is at the pits. It's because we have shoe salesmen and drug addicts running the industry.
Well, as it happens, I had Darlene on my show last year. She's an amazing singer, and I'm sure she'll have some things to say at the interview.
I met Phil while I was a background singer. I met him through a gentleman named Lester Sill. I was doing work for Lester Sill at the time, and Phil was in town from New York City looking for someone to record He's a Rebel. With me, Phil was a very easygoing person. I didn't have all the trouble and the problems everybody else had. When I went into the recording studio to sing or to perform, that's what I was there for, and I never really had any problems with Philip. He would tell me the way he wanted me to sing it, and I would do it. If he had a problem, the words or whatever weren't coming out right, or he couldn't understand them, he would stop me and tell me. But we would usually go into the studio, and within 1 to 5 takes, I was finished.
Every evening when the sun goes down, I lay my head.
Darlene? I don't have to have ooh behind it, okay? Let's forget about the intro for now. Let's just come right in. 1, 2, 3.
Every evening when the sun goes down, I lay my head on the pillow down. Every evening when the sun goes down, I lay my head on the pillow down. You gonna keep that other part the same?
Yeah, woo woo doo 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 doo.
Me in business. Now that's a different story because see, like when I got with Phil, like when I did He's a Rebel, it was already understood I was getting paid $1,500 to do the record, which was fine. When the record was such a big success, we signed contracts. In those days, a contract was only as good as how